Hello everyone, it's Lel, and my voice hasn't fully recovered from the scandal show that I have been to this weekend. Oh my god, they're everything. Baby, one more time. Baby, one more time. I love Scandal. Do you know Scandal, the Japanese band? Go listen to it. If you don't, they are amazing, and I am such a big fan. I was so happy to meet them. But today we're here to talk about episode 24 from Hirogaru Sky PreCure, which also brought me to tears. Not as much as episode 23, obviously, but in a more emotional way. It was not that ugly cry. It was that beautiful cry, you know, like when a tear falls slowly. You're just... It was not like, like 23. 23 was hard. But anyway, let's talk about 24. And I'm going to start talking about two things that I found kind of weird about this episode because, you know, it's going to be praise after praise after praise. So let's start with the things that I didn't enjoy much. The first one was Captain Shalala. She's been so far such an interesting and intense character that I feel like she was so bland in this episode. First, we have the fact that Shalala's been sleeping, or she's been in a slumber, or she's been captured since episode 15. So she doesn't know what's been going on. She didn't know about the Kita Kita potion. She didn't know about the king and the queen. And now she's acting like she already knew about everything. And she got happy when she learned that the Kita Kita potion was ready. There was no context for us to know that she already knew about what was going on. But I do understand, like, they wanted to save time. And so probably someone told her that. But we haven't seen that. So it felt a little weird to me in a way. And the second thing about Shalala that made me feel very weird is the fact that she's been missing for so long. People have been so worried about her that when she arrived in Skyland and when Betty and the vice captain saw her, where was the emotion? It was so bland. Like, at least Betty, like Betty admires Shalala a lot. At least she should have had a little bit more emotion. I don't know, someone should have had more emotion towards Shalala, you know? Everything was just for the king and the queen. People were happy because of them, but where was the love for Shalala in Skyland? Come on, Shalala's been defending your hometown, and that's how you receive her? Girl, wake up. That was kind of weird to me. And the second thing that was weird is that this was Ageha's first time in Skyland, and it was not mentioned, not even once in this episode. And I felt like, I don't know, she's been knowing things about Skyland for a while. I mean, this was the second visit. I understand she's been there last week, but like, this was the first time she was there to enjoy Skyland and to get to know society. I wish the episode at least acknowledged that a little more. But still, as I said, I feel like this episode was so lovely. It was so good. I just had to talk about it first because everything else was just perfection. The first scene with Mashiro telling Sora that the potion was ready, the girls arriving there, saving the king and the queen, Elle being super happy and calling them Papa and Mama. That was the first time that they actually saw her speak. I mean, she just spoke Eru before, and now she can pronounce certain words, and they haven't been following that. So for them, it was a very big and special moment. And I also love another thing about this episode, which is they have reinforced lots of times that the king and the queen are Elle's mom and dad. Lots of times. She calls them Papa and Mama. There was the reinforcement that was their house. All things like that matter for what we're going to learn down the road in this episode. And that was very important. Ageha was also stressing that a lot. And I feel like that was super, super nice of this episode to do because Elle isn't their biological daughter. She's a miracle. She's a star. We don't actually know, but we're going to get there. So I feel like it was really important for them to highlight she is their daughter. They are Papa and Mama for Elle. Doesn't matter if she is a magical being. They are family, and that's what matters. And family is another very important word for this episode. So the girls start riding in the chocobos. I mean, if you know Final Fantasy, you know what I'm talking about. But you know, those big chickens. And Very nice. Ageha and Tsubasa going in first. Ageha was like very brave and Tsubasa was just helping her. And he just went, and then Sora went by herself and Mashiro couldn't go. So there are two things here in this moment that I feel like are very important. The first one is that Sora ended up being by herself. She didn't wait for Mashiro. She just let go and she got carried away. And she met Shalala and they started talking. That was very important because one of the things that I feel like Hirogaru Sky has been stressing a lot is how Sora wants to be a hero. But at the same time, it's also stressing that there are multiple ways of being heroes. And Sora's way is an interesting way, but there are other ways. And in this moment, Mashiro arrives in the Shokubo by herself. Sora did not stay behind to help her. I mean, Betty did help her, but Mashiro was the one who overcame that by herself. And Mashiro was the star of this episode. We'll get there, but I feel like what was important in that moment is that so far, Mashiro's development has been closely related to Sora. And after last week that Mashiro stood up for herself by herself, I feel like things are changing for her. There's a new perspective for Mashiro as a character, and I really love how she is herself now. She loves Sora, she loves her friendship, but not everything about her is dependent on the friendship she has with Sora. She is her own person now. She is her own hero as well. She has won that war against herself, and she is her full-fledged person, and I absolutely love that about Mashiro. And there was also the acknowledgement that Shalala looked at Sora and said, it was not only me who inspired you to be a hero, who inspired you to be strong. Look around you. Look at Mashiro. She also inspired you. The others also inspired you. They all inspired Sora to be stronger, to be a hero. So it's not only me now as Captain Shalala who has inspired you since you were a kid. Now you have other inspirations. Now you have other people to look up to that are as strong as I am. That's very, very nice. I love that. And then we have another scene of them enjoying themselves, and they were eating something called doll donuts, which are ball donuts in the Skylandian way. And it's interesting because it seems that Skyland has lots of costumes that are very similar to our costumes. They just play a little bit with the words on them. And Mashiro starts being philosophical about that, philosophing about that. And she starts thinking about how we have a group of people that come from different places. We have Ageha and Mashiro who come from Earth, who were born on Earth, who were raised on Earth, and they share the costumes that they learned from Earth. And then we have Sora and Tsubasa who are Skylandian, and they learn and share the costumes from that place. But miracle, destiny brought them together. And now they share this strong bond, even if they're different, even if they come from different places with different cultures, even if they grew up in a very different scenario, in a very different setting, with very different cultural differences, with cultural differences. Oh my God, I'm being redundant. They are under the same sky. And I really love that line. We're all under the same sky. This is a line from an Ayumi Hamasaki song. She wrote that line in one of her songs. It's not that she created that line, but I love this philosophy. Even if we're far apart, we are also together. And I feel like in the meaning of Hirogaru Sky is, even if we're so different than each other, we're together, we're family, we're close, we're strong together. I love that. And then we see Elle with her parents, and we also get this cultural difference because Elle starts drawing things like cars, for example, and they don't know what that is. And when Elle draws her parents and Yo-Yo, people that she has some sort of relationship with, a close emotional bond with, it's very cute. But then she draws a house, which is Mashiro's house or Yo-Yo's house, and then she acknowledges that as her own house. And the queen even says things like, oh, but this is your house too, Elle, don't forget that. And then she draws the cures, which are her family. And Elle acknowledges them as her family. And she starts chanting the Hirogaru Sky PreCure themes and their names and the sky tone, the tone connect. It is so adorable. And then a light shines from her chest and we start learning more about Elle's story. So they call the girls go there and they start sharing the story about Elle for the girls. When I say the girls, I am including Tsubasa. I'm sorry, it's just the force of habit of 19 seasons. So please, I'm not forgetting Tsubasa. It's just the word that comes out of my mouth. So the crew, the group, they call the group. And so they start sharing. One day, the dawn, the queen looks up. She sees a beautiful sky, very colorful sky. Love that scene. Very, very beautiful. The morning star shines. And the morning star gives them a present. But not only a present, also a mission. And this present is a baby, which is Elle-chan. And they tell both the king and the queen to raise Elle. And after a while, Elle is going to save Skyland. What a big destiny we have inside a very little baby, a newborn star. And the queen even asks the voice, like, what if we don't accept? And the voice says, we're going to search for another suitable person. And that's it. They accept the role. And the voice tells them something that makes me question this voice a little bit. The voice tells them, your time as parents will come to an end very soon. And I feel like the narrative of this episode goes against that line. But I'll get there. The first thing I want to discuss is the existence of a voice. There are two prominent voices now in Hirogaru Sky, even though they haven't appeared much. One of them is the villain voice that has been around in the Kabaton era of Hirogaru Sky, threatening Kabaton. We haven't seen the voice ever since. And now we have a voice from the good side as well, who gave birth to Elle. Can we say that? Who brought Elle to life? I don't know. But still, two voices, two prominent voices, one from each side. So there is a thing about voices and probably about beings that might not have a corporeal existence. I don't know. And maybe both voices are looking for the same thing, a savior or a body. And that might be the reason why the Underg Empire is looking for Elle. I mean, they also need the miracle for them, because if she's going to protect Skyland, she might also, her role might also be the reverse for Underg Empire. So maybe they want to preserve themselves with Elle's presence. I don't know. All I know is that the aspect of voice makes it very interesting. But then the king and the queen ask the girls to stay with Elle on Earth because Underg Empire will keep on going after her. They start crying, saying goodbye to her, and she comforts them. I cried in that scene because it was way too adorable for me. But I feel like this is where things get different from what the voice has said. The voice said that there's going to be a sign, then this sign means goodbye, and then their parenting will come to an end. But they don't put an end to their parenting. They tell Elle, when you fulfill your mission, come back to your mom and dad. Come back to your family. So they are still her parents. Even if the voice said they're not going to be her parents anymore. So I like that. I really love that. It's family, no matter what. It doesn't come from you physically. It doesn't matter. It's family. Love, love, love that so much. And then we also have the other concept of family here, which is we have the parade, very nice. I feel like the parade could have been grander, but it was okay. You know, it was very simple, but it was okay. We have a little context for the girls to transform and to use their power. Prism and Sky use their attack. And then we have Wing and Butterfly also using a little bit of power up. We were very curious to see how they would use Wonderful. And it's very interesting because Butterfly says it's like a surprise. So we might see Wonderful again being used in the future, and we don't know what it will do or what type of effect it will create. This time it created an L face in the sky with fireworks. Very cute. So we had the parade. It was very nice. But then at the end of the parade, we had Prism, coming, all the cures coming together, and Prism telling them, we are a family. We're so different than each other, but that's what makes us stronger together. We are a family. So I really love the concept of family that this episode is bringing. So strong, so powerful, and it works so well because all of the relationships between the characters have been done so well. So far, so good. Everything is super, super, super well done. If you watch since episode 1, if you're watching it closely like we're doing, we know how strong their relationships are being. And this is, for me, the strongest part of Hirogaru Sky so far. Everything is so well constructed in their relations. Everything makes sense for them to call themselves a family. And I love that Mashiro is the one who took this role. And I feel like right now, Mashiro is one of the strongest characters in Hirogaru Sky in terms of personality. I just love it. Wow. What an episode. And so next week they're gonna come back to Earth, and there's gonna be a new villain. I hope we see Batamonda's destiny, because we don't know what happened to him after 23. He hasn't appeared in 24. We haven't heard from the Underg Empire voice in 24. So I really hope we have something like that in 25, which is next week. And I'm very curious to see this villain. Is he going to be hot like Kabaton? Are we going to see Kabaton again? Where is Kabaton? Please bring him back. Anyways, very strong episode. I love L's existence. Right now, I'm believing that L is the reincarnation of that legendary fighter that saved Skyland years ago. But I still feel like she has two sides. She can go either to Skyland or Underg Empire. I feel like what the light said in this episode, what the star said in this episode, is just half the story. There might be like this dark star that has the other half of the story, and maybe Elle will have to choose or something. And I hope that she doesn't choose any of them and she breaks the mode and she chooses her own future. You know that Britney Spears commercial? I choose my own destiny. Oh my God. Anyways, hero corner of this episode is definitely Mashiro's philosophy at the end when they are transformed, and we have like that beautiful panning scene of all the four of them. Love that. But it could also be the doll bonnets scene, which shares more or less the same philosophy. I'll go with the end one because they're transformed as skewers, so it looks a little bit grander. What a stupid reason. But you know, I feel like both scenes were amazing. This episode was gorgeous, amazing, powerful, brilliant. I love it. Hirogaru Sky PreCure. You're everything. Anyways, babies, just want to say thank you for having a little patience with me by me not uploading when I usually do, and being a little late with the video. Hope you all like it the same. And want to take this a little time to thank the members of the Magical Cinema channel. If you are a member, thank you very, very much for your support. And if you've watched up to now, thank you so much as well. Thank you so much for watching, and until next time, bye-bye.